All right, shalom, shalom, brothers. Brother Kamal Mahar here, back at it again. First thing first, we give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahara Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders learning the truth from. Blessings to the Akim, dear preaching his word with horror to sincerity. Blessed to the 144,000, 1/3. The elect, the first fruits kingdom of heaven. Also David W. Yaf Dawadah. And shalom to you brothers out there speaking different tongues and looking different nations. Shalom to you, brothers. So today, brothers, I wanted to land back off a brother's video I just seen. He was going into more of the new covenant, simultaneously into, the straight gate, which, he was proving it another, I think the Bishop Nathaniel from IUIC. I think he's saying that we're in the new covenant now, which we're not. We're in between the first and the second. Well, the second isn't here yet. We're striving to be there. But along that journey, which, a lot of us, all of us brothers are, especially when you're in the know and you're in this truth sincerely and you have the right doctrine from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, the scriptures like to refer to the journey as a straight gate, which you will, let's just go to, if I was to look up straight for edification's sakes. A narrow passage of water connecting two seas or two other large areas of water. Okay. Which that is what that is. Okay, so this will be this will be a better definition. Number 2 is a similar. It says use in the reference, which that's what this is doing. Straight gate is a reference in the scriptures. Is used in the reference to a situation characterized by a specific degree of trouble or difficulty. That's exactly what that is. When you're in dire straits, is where you're in a really difficult situation. And obviously the synonym to that is a narrow passage as well, which the scriptures refers back and forth with that. So we know that when we come into this thing, like I was warned when I was came to this truth. I was on the other side of the line with this one brother, and he had a camp, and me, my brother Samak, and brother Shalawamia, we introduced ourselves, and then we gave it about a good month or some change, and we had our garments, and we showed up every Saturday. And we pretty much was able to cross over. But before we did, we was warned, about, the tribulations and the trouble and the hardships and the up and down roller coaster that this truth can bring, and which it will bring. There's a brother named Malak. I'm not sure where that brother is, man. Lord willing, he's doing well. He said something to me, man. He said, man, one thing about this truth that's real is that when you come into this truth, things are going to be up and down like a roller coaster. At the time, I still live life long enough to know that not everything is, going to work out. But I looked at it from a different perspective now that I actually was in the know and my knowledge was being increased of understanding of the scriptures in various topics: Jacob's troubles, kingdom of heaven, famines, the chariots, spiritual power, the true names of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, changed bodies, new covenants, faith, all types of manners of styles of Israel only. I was starting to get very well versed in different various topics to, in the Gospels to defend. And you start learning that when he said that, I was able to comprehend and understand what was going on. And it was so true. You know what I mean? You get your highs and your lows, and it's very healthy in a nice balance, because when you think about it, when you go through hardships or difficulties, like in a straight gate, which I'm going to bring these precepts out. Just wanted to say this real quick. What it does in return, it will allow you to lean on Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. And that's exactly what you want and what you need. And it's beautiful how the formula is set up. Because think about it, when you're rich and well off, you don't need Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. You know what I mean? You have your constellation, you're set up right, you're good. On this side, you're a king. And you got all the resources in the world. You really don't have no worry nowhere. And if something go wrong, more than likely you can buy yourself out of a situation. And pretty much every situation that will be considered troublesome for a person like me and other like-minded people will be something that's not that deep. So when you're in that position and you're winning like that on this side, the chances of you praying to the Lord for trouble is slim to none when you really think about it. But when you are on this side and you're not rich, you know, things get real, things can get troublesome. So it puts you in a position where you don't have nowhere to go but to lean on Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. And by leaning on Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, that also is what your faith comes into play. And Sirach 2, which that's one of my favorite scriptures now, my favorite books and chapters now, where it just applies to like almost every situation ever. Whenever trouble comes, Sirach 2 is like the greatest, you know, book to go to understand, you know, how to think and move in these crazy times. But the point of this video is that when we going through this truth, pursuant to the brother was going to the covenant, okay, second covenant, or what you would say pursuing to on your journey to be, Lord willing, delivered on a chariot when Yahweh Shah come back. You know, what is the process in the journey and what it entails with that? It's going to be a narrow path, and a straight gate was going to be a path of difficulty to do. You're going to fall, get back up. You're going to go through some things. So you're going to have to rely on Yahweh Bashem Yahushua and then cleave unto the Lord until he makes you better in your last end, like Sirach 2 goes, right? So let me bring out my first precept. I wanted to bring out, let's bring out Matthew. Let's get into it in general. Matthew 7 and 13 to 14. It says, enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. Right. When a broad is easy, there's so many different distractions, so many different pathways, ideologies, idols. I mean, going down the wicked way, which is broad, is really easy to do. It's you know, you can just follow after whatever you want, do as thy wilt, spirit. You know what I mean? It's an easy situation. When it's broad, you can just pretty much have enough space. You have enough opportunity to just do what you do, but it's obviously going down the wrong path because when things are easy, more than likely it's not what you need. When you think about it, hard work builds with success, which that's not broad, it's narrow. It's a path of difficulty to get to the end goal, whatever you're shooting for, which would entail more than likely require blood, sweat, and tears in order to get there. Tribulations, if you're in school, you might have to bomb a test or two. Maybe you didn't have enough money for your tuition. You know, so many different things that can be in your way as a stumbling block, or what you will call AKA a straight gate, to get to your graduation, or AKA for us, it will be when Yahweh Shah returns salvation and get those new bodies like the brother was getting into, and to enter into the covenant, the second covenant, which will make us perfect and have no worries in general. And then our righteousness through that side will be broad and everything is all good. But in order to get there, that path is straight. It says, enter ye at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction. And many there be which go in thereat. They do. It's easy to go that way. But it says, because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. You see that? So many are chosen, and few are, many are called, and few are chosen. And it's only specific people, Lord willing, I can be a part of that number, you sincere brothers, that's going to be able to enter this gate on this narrow path and endure. Because remember, in Matthew 24:13 says what? 24:13, it says, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. So you got to endure. There's going to be hardships. There's going to be tough situations. And like the brother did bring up, which I haven't really talked about in a little while, I'm going to bring it up now. What is one of the major things coming up in the near future that we're going to have to endure? Famines, the big dog, Jacob's trouble, RFID chip, mark of the beast. These are going to be some tough scenarios and tough times that we're going to need Yahweh Bashem Yahushua for real. This is going to be a very bad journey. And it's going to be very difficult. So you're going to have to lean on Yahweh Bashem Yahushua for real in order to get by. We're going to see some crazy things, some wild shit that we're not going to be able to fathom. It's going to be vicious. And these are the times that we're going to have to endure in order for things to work out. Right? That's the only way this is going to work. So it's going to be a narrow path. There's going to be a lot of brothers, and Lord forbid, I'm one of them, and any of you sincere brothers, there's going to be a lot of brothers that's not going to be able to withstand the heat. And going to fall out, man. And it's just not going to work. And you got to remember, this is a difficult situation, man. Life is out of control, and it's built this way for a purpose to lean on with our faith. Because remember, the just shall live by faith, or get saved by faith, roughly paraphrasing. Right? That's the only way this is going to work. Let me bring out Luke. It's Luke, just to reference this. I got Luke 13:24. Luke 13:24, strive to enter in at the straight gate, for many, I say unto you, will seek to enter in and shall not be able. That's also another situation you got to think about. I'm looking at this from like this video was inspired by, going on a reference of the guy, Nathaniel from IUIC leader, where he's pumping that, the RFID chip is not the mark of the beast, it's sin. And that we're already in the second covenant. I mean, brothers like that teaching the false doctrines is more than likely not going to be able to go into this thing. It's not going to work. You know what I mean? And that's a fall off situation. I mean, what can you do when you, matter of fact, let's read 25. When once the master of the house is risen up and have shut to the door, and ye begin to stand without and to knock at the door, saying, Lord, Lord, open unto us. And he shall answer and say unto you, I know you not whence you are. See that? And that's what's going to happen in that day. Lord willing, the Lord open up and grant me in there. You know what I mean? I'm following the doctrine of the apostles and elders from GMS. I know that's the truth. I know it's rock solid through my faith. I'm just going to stand strong, man, Lord willing. And you brothers need to, when you pray, you pray for faith when you're going to need it. When these straight gates approach yourself, and as we're on this path, as things get more difficult and difficult, pursuant to Jacob's trouble and all these RFID chips and our temptation situations, you want to pray that your faith is going to be, very, very accessible in those times. It's very easy to call faith and prosperity. Right now, brothers, when you think about it, I mean, cool. We're looking for jobs. That might be the case. Lacking money. That could be the case. Baby mama drama. That could be the case. Trying to find a crib. That could be the case. There's so many different things that could be the case on why things can be on a straight gate scenario. But when you really think about it, compared to what's coming, you living in prosperity. The Lord is dealing. He's making a way for you to eat somehow. He's making a way for you to drink. You're getting by day. The deli bread is there. I will assume for you brothers that's in this truth and you sincere, the Lord don't forsake the ones who call him. Sirach 2:10. Yes, that one. And that's how the Lord dealing. If you really sincere in this thing and you praying on the Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, The Lord will make ways for you to keep it rolling by day. And the Lord tell you not to worry about tomorrow, worry about the moment. So if you eating, things got worked out somehow, some way, let that ride, because that was what was meant to be, and the Lord still delivered you and fed you. It's how that works, man. You know? And that's just what that is, man. You gotta remember, we're on a spiritual battle. We have to walk through the straight gate, which is a difficult situation. That's, looking like a spectacle when you out on the highways and hedges. Look, people scoffing at you. You're different from the others. You don't do the birthdays and the holidays and things of that nature. You opposite the grain. People questioning you. You know what I mean? You don't go to church. You know what I mean? You might lose friends. There's so many different avenues that can go wrong being in this truth, that the Lord did say that they hated me. Then if they hated me, they're going to hate you. That's also part of the straight gate. It's tough to be along this walk, right? I'm going to end this off, brothers, with 2 Ezra 7. This is going to really just hit home. I say this, the best for last. 2 Ezra 7. And I'm going to start at I started 3, man. I started 3. It says, and I said, speak on my power. Then said he unto me, the sea is set in a wide place, and it might be deep and great. But put the case that the entrance were narrow like a river. Who then could go into the sea to look upon it? And it says, and to rule it. If he went not through the narrow, how could he come to into the broad? And right, so this sea is talking about the kingdom of heaven. That's what it's referenced to. And what it's saying is it says for verse 4, but put the case the entrance were narrow like a river. Who then could go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? Right. So the broad will be the kingdom of heaven, which was the end of the road, which is where we're headed, it's where we're going for, because it's a narrow path first, and then you enter the broad, which would be the kingdom of heaven. So it's like, how can you not go through the difficult times? How can you not put that work in? How can you not strive? How can you not endure unto the end and then to get to the broad? There's nothing going to be easy in this case scenario. So you just can't just hopscotch over the difficult and go into the broad. It's not that. That's not that how it works. You got to put that work in like you do every day. You want that paycheck at the end of the 2 weeks. You got to put that work in. You just can't. They're not going to just give you the money. You got to go to work and do your 8 hours, 12, 14, however it goes. Wait the 2 weeks, and you earned that, and then boom, you clocked in. You showed up. You did what you had to do. By the end of the situation, you get your paycheck. It's the same thing with the kingdom of heaven. You know what I mean? It says, verse 6, there is also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad field and is full of all good things, the kingdom of heaven. It's a broad field. Remember, before it's broad, it's narrow. So you got to go through a journey. You see these movies like Treasure Hunter or what, you know what I mean? Or those treasure hunt type scenario type of movies where it be all these trials and tribulations, mazes and death places that can kill you in all different sides. You got to keep driving forward, and then you get the gold and the treasure at the very end. But look what they had to go through in order to get to that treasure. Right? Same concept, man. Verse 7. The entrance thereof is narrow. There we go again. It's very narrow, very skinny, and set in a dangerous place to fall, right? Like as if there were a fire on the right hand and on the left a deep water. So you got scary water, scary fire on both sides, on either side. That's terrifying. And it says, in one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could only one man go there once. You see that? So that means you got to literally be like, you got to literally do one of these numbers to go get by it, or at least go side by side or something, like as if it was a wall. You can't go side by side because behind you will be the water, and then the four in front of you will be the fire. So that's another situation. So no, you're gonna have to balance yourself, and stay on that path, and open your arms and try to get your little balance up. You gotta do what you gotta do to get through that. But the faith of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is the only way it's going to work. You believe in the Lord will guide your steps. You see that? So let me go to real quick. That was dope. That was dope. I think that's Proverbs, where I'll be one of my favorite scriptures. Right. Proverbs 3 and 5 and 6. Because this is what you're going to need on that narrow path as you rolling, right? Trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not unto thy own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Right? There you go. So just like King David was talking about how the Lord had made his steps, real big, where he wouldn't slip or fall. Same concept. When you on that narrow path and you going through that straight gate, the difficulties that's going to come with this truth in life, in the pursuing very near future of Jacob's trouble and things like the hour of temptation, you're going to have to lean under. It says, trust in the Lord with all thy heart and lean not unto thy own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. So when you go on across that narrow path, you acknowledge the Lord and have faith in the Lord and let the Lord guide you and get you to that broad standpoint. And I'm going to finish off with this precept right here. That's in 2 Ezra 7. This is the most important one. Verse 9. If this city now were given unto a man for inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive his portion, his inheritance? Right? Right? How can he receive that? If you don't clock in, and if you don't go to work, if you don't endure, if you don't have the faith, if you're not striving, if you're not falling down and getting back up and repenting and keep it rolling and trying your best to offend less, doing the work, being brotherly, you know what I mean? Take the heat, the skeptical prosecution that going to potentially come up, all these different things that's going to be involved in what you call the straight gate of the difficulties of this truth along the narrow path to get to the broad of the kingdom of heaven, the return of Yahushua, get to change bodies and have no worries. How are you able to going to get there without going through some things? If you're not going through some things, you obviously didn't earn your paycheck. I brought this out as edifying to you, brothers, Lord willing. I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Bahara Kakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders learning the truth from. Blessing to the Akim on there preaching his word with horror to sincerity. Blessed to the 144,000 and 1/3. The elect, the house of David, the Biaf Dawadah. And shalom, you brothers out there speaking different tongues and looking in different nations. Shalom to you, brothers.